Hello and welcome to the jungle garden in Denmark. This episode is about our Aquascape ecosystem pond and how we made it, because some of the viewers on this channel has asked for that. I must admit that when it comes to Aquascape I become a bit of a nerd, so if you're only into plants you might want to skip this episode. I will tell a little about Aquascape and why I chose their concept. If you can't be bothered to listen to that and want to go directly to the construction of the pond, you can jump ahead to the time specified at the bottom of the screen. Aquascape is North America's biggest manufacturer of pond products, and a lot of these are invented by themselves. They are the only company of this kind that also has a construction team that goes out and makes ponds for our customers. Furthermore, they have an education program where landscape contractors from all over can learn how to make an Aquascape ecosystem pond. When they have completed the education, they can call themselves CAC, Certified Aquascape Contractor, so they can be found in many countries, but unfortunately not in Denmark. The more traditional way to make a garden pond here in Denmark is to dig a hole and put a rubber liner in it. Then you have a big filter box standing somewhere to filter the water in the pond, and perhaps a surface skimmer floating around in the water. Often you can see rubber, plastic and the skimmer, and that big filter box is difficult to hide when it also must be accessible. And often these ponds are green with algae, so you can't see the fish. I didn't want a pond like that. I wanted one that looked like something I could see out in nature, and then I found Aquascape. They have lots of videos here on YouTube showing how to build a pond, how to build a stream and so on, and I have probably seen those videos 100 times each. Aquascape's concept is that the pond looks as natural as possible. You don't see rubber or plastic, and the filters and the skimmer are built into the pond. It works as an ecosystem where you work with Mother Nature instead of against her. There are 5 components in an Aquascape ecosystem pond. A mechanical filter, the skimmer, that collects leaves and other debris, a biological filter that removes excess nutrients, rocks and gravel, fish and plants. We have made our pond completely after this concept. You can't see the skimmer, it is built into the pond. It is between these rocks. You can see here. And the biological filter is built into the source of the stream. All vertical parts are covered with rocks and all horizontal parts are covered with gravel. Besides disguising the rubber liner, it also protects it from the sun's ultraviolet rays, which makes it last longer. The fish produce nutrients and the plants help remove them so the water isn't polluted. The whole thing runs like an ecosystem, so there's very little maintenance. And as you can see, the water is so clear that you can see the bottom of the pond. We have kois, a lot of goldfish, they're getting more and more. Both the ordinary orange ones, the red and white called sarasa, and the red, blue and black called shubunkin. We also have some other fish, but I don't know the names in English. We have numerous frogs, newts and different colored dragonflies. The fish love to root around amongst the rocks and in the gravel. It is their nature, and that's also why koi have whiskers. You can spend hours watching the life in the pond. The hardest part was to get hold of the filters. Aquascape has a web shop, but they don't ship abroad and they haven't got any CAC or dealer here in Denmark. I went to numerous pond shops to look for something similar I could use, and by coincidence I found a shop here on Sealand where I live that actually had an Aquascape skimmer and one of their filters. Aquascape makes different sizes, but the shop only had one, which is why we have 2 streams to get enough filtration. The pump, the pipes and the rubber liner are all bought here in Denmark, as it didn't necessarily have to be Aquascapes. I haven't got any video from the construction of the pond, but I have plenty of photos. First we marked the pond area with a garden hose. Then we placed the skimmer, which is the black box to the left in the photo, and the 2 biological filters at the start of the 2 streams. They can't be seen in this photo. And then we started to excavate the pond and lay the plumbing between skimmer and the biological filters. Because we have terrible soil here, mostly lime, as you can see in the photo, we had huge problems with the excavated shelves. They either crumbled or the soil was so hard that we couldn't remove the sharp stones of flint, which we have plenty of around here, and which would have cut the rubber liner. Because of that, we decided to enhance the edges with a thin layer of concrete, which is not the Aquascape concept, but necessary here. In this photo you can also see how we built the streams. This one is the one that's now going through the jungle. Because we had to replace all the soil with something better for plants than lime, we had to stabilize the edges of the stream with wooden boards. Once the rubber liner was in, we removed the boards and built the edges with rocks. Here you can see the same way of building the short stream and the placing of the biological filter called biofalls that can be seen to the right in this photo, covered with some boards so it wouldn't collect any debris. Our bridges over the streams are very simple. A piece of pipe has been bent and the bridge is on top of the pipes, which means that we can easily lift them off if necessary. Then we put down the underlayment, which protects the rubber liner against any sharp rocks. And after that the rubber liner was placed. And then it is great to have a lot of good neighbors, because that rubber liner was so heavy that it took all of us to carry it in and to place it. Then we started to rock in the pond. We have placed underwater lights and we have built several fish caves for the fish to hide in if a predator shows up, like the blue heron. You can see one of them to the left at the bottom of the photo. Then we put gravel on all the horizontal areas. The streams are finished and it is time to wash all the rocks and gravel and remove the dirty water from the pond. And then it is time to fill the pond for the first time. This is the start of the long stream. The biofalls is hidden by rocks and makes a natural start to the stream. And here is the finished stream, which is enjoyed by all of us. The pond is finished and the first goldfish have moved in. We made a big shallow shelf with a stony beach so that the dogs had an easy entry, and they love to watch the fish. The fish enjoys the shallow, warm water on the dog shelf. Others enjoy the pond as well. Pure relaxation. With lights in the pond, we can still enjoy the fish when the sun has set. We think we succeeded in making a pond with a natural look.
And that was all for this episode. Thanks for watching.